Having examined some of the situations in which one would use compression, we will now look at the theoretical principles which underlie a compressor's operation. This section will not be about how to use a compressor. This section is all about understanding exactly what a compressor does to your sound. A compressor works by reducing the volume of the loud parts of a sound. It basically brings down the peaks. It applies negative gain to all parts of the sound that rise above a certain threshold. It does not necessarily reduce the gain enough to cause the sound to fall under the threshold. Rather, it reduces the difference between the threshold and the volume according to the adjustable ratio. For example, if the ratio is 2 to 1, then a sound that is 6 decibels above the threshold will have its volume reduced by 3 decibels, and a sound that is 1 decibel above the threshold will have its volume reduced by 0.5 decibels. Some compressors offer the ability to adjust the knee of the compression curve. A compressor that operates as described previously will be rather heavy-handed in its operation. It will leave sounds below the threshold completely untouched and rapidly clamp down on sounds above the threshold. This is hard knee compression. Soft knee compression basically smooths out the response of the compressor. Sounds a little below the threshold are slightly compressed, and the sounds that are only a little bit above the threshold are compressed more gently than the louder sounds. Essentially, the threshold is blurred out by soft knee compression. Hard knee compression is tighter and more controlled, while soft knee compression is gentler and subtler. Compressors do not react instantaneously to sounds that cross the threshold. They have a certain lead-in time during which the gain ramps down and during which the sound may exceed the volume that it's supposed to be at. With modern digital technology, it is possible for the compressor to react so fast that the effect is essentially instantaneous. However, some amount of compression lead-in time is often a desirable characteristic, as overfast acting compression can cause distortion in the waveform being compressed and can in general sound rather crass and unsettled. Compressors allow you to set the length of the lead-in time, known as the attack, according to the nature of your task. Just as it is often desirable for a compressor to begin compressing with some amount of slop, it is also usually desirable for a compressor to stop compressing with some amount of slop. When the sound falls back below the threshold of compression, a compressor will take some time to bring the gain back up to the normal level. The reason is the same. Overly fast decompression can distort the waveform, and so slowing down the decompression results in a gentler effect. The result of this lag is when a sound that is being compressed rapidly drops in volume rather than falling back to the normal uncompressed level. It will even fall lower and then gradually ramp back up to the normal level. The negative gain is still being applied even though the sound is no longer over the threshold. The lag time between the sound falling below the threshold and the gain adjusting appropriately is called the release time. As with the attack time, it is adjustable. Putting it all together, a typical compressor has the following parameters: threshold, which determines the volume level at which the compressor will begin acting; ratio, which determines the amount by which material above the threshold will be compressed; knee, which sets the sharpness of the knee, allowing for hard knee or soft knee compression; attack, which determines how quickly the compressor will react to sounds above the threshold; release, which determines how quickly the compressor will return to a normal state when the sound falls back below the threshold. Finally, most compressors have one final parameter that we have not considered: makeup gain. Because compression is designed to reduce the volume of the peaks in the input, the output of the compressor is, unsurprisingly, usually quieter than the input. Since this is usually not desirable, most compressors feature a high-powered gain control at the end of their signal chain, which will allow you to boost the signal right back up to make up for the compression.